ओम ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रीहरिं परमानंदम उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम् व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। वर्ष नंबर 1 to 7। समाधौ क्रियमाणे तु विघ्नान्यायान्ति वै बलात् अनुसन्धानराहित्यम् आलस्यं भोगलालसं लयस्तमश्च विक्षेपः रसास्वादश्च शून्यता। एवं यद्विघ्नबाहुल्यं त्याज्यं ब्रह्मविदा शनैः। त्याज्यम ब्रह्मविद्या शनैः। So Brahmavidya, the technical is called the knower of Brahman. So Sanaihi, slowly with great effort. Looks like there is a contradiction. The first contradiction starts here. If you say that the person is already Brahmavid, the knower of Brahman, then how come there will be obstacles? And there are 8 obstacles. If the person is going through all sort of obstacles, that means the person is not knower of Brahman. So how does Adi Shankaracharya says this? This is the first point to be noted. Because as you know, we have this sayings. The moment you start studying engineering, so what you call yourself? Engineer. The moment you enter medical science, you call yourself as doctor. So this Brahmavida, even though he is not a Brahmavid yet, because in the process. So that's why one has to look at very carefully. This is the first point. Second point, when Adi Shankaracharya talks these aspects very carefully, as you know, this parampara is not created by anybody. It is not Adi Shankaracharya's, fancy or Adi Shankaracharya's imagination. Okay, that's why we give importance to the parampara most carefully. Actually, all these things have been talked in details in Mandukya Karika. And of course, in Bhagavad Gita, only 2 to 3 aspects, 2 aspects directly, another one is there. So 3 aspects in 6th chapter has been talked, the obstacles part. So here, Adi Shankaracharya thought, why not to bring, this Mandukya Karika little more simple way, nothing else. So first he brings, as we saw in the last class, anusandhana rahityam iti. So that means anusandhana means what? That inquiry. Okay. So what happened is that I don't feel like inquiring. I don't want to dwell upon. I don't really want to do anything because I am comfortable where I am. Somehow my life is moving. You understand? Why to get into, like, they say, if the lion is sleeping, why to wake up? Let it sleep, okay? If the mind is living on its way, why to create any disturbance? Allow it. I am very good the way I am. That's why the example was being given what? Taking bath, especially winter, okay? So nobody wants to enter. So that is called starting problem. Another we gave this Chetak example, okay, the Indian motorcycle, okay. So unless you tilt, it cannot start. So also, unless you have some punch, okay, that's why we have a lot of things which we'll be seeing later on. Many people start meditation on any auspicious day. So I should do meditation today, okay? Then what happens? So the meditation goes away, auspiciousness goes away, the person remains as it is, okay? Then they want to do prayaschitam. There are some people here also, they want to do prayaschitam. They go in, do it some other way, according to their convenient look, without looking at other people in the family people. This is nuisance, okay? Stop this sort of prayaschitam, okay? Directly I'm telling somebody. Be careful. However, coming back, okay? Because whomsoever I want to give, I give on the class, okay? Because behind I cannot give, okay? Coming back. I'm sorry. Here, anusandhana rahityam. Directly, it is connected to my comfort zone. Because I am comfortable in my comfort zone, whichever comfort zone I have created, or you can say you have created your own cocoon. So you feel protected. Maybe sometimes you feel suffocated, but that is not suffocation. Remember, that is your, exertion. You are tired. And here the first obstacle is me being in my comfort zone. And that is what is called starting point. I don't want to break the ice that is in me, but I am ready to break ice with reference to others. So I can take the coconut, hit everybody's head except my head, okay? However, let us not get into too much. Then second one is called alasyam. So alasyam generally is translated laziness. Okay, you may start, but when you start, but the laziness takes over. And when laziness takes over, definitely the person cannot do anything. And you have all sort of excuses. My leg is paining. I think today is not the right time. Maybe after 1 hour I'll do it, or tomorrow I'll do it. So the laziness makes you to postpone. So a person generally who is very good in postponing things. So okay, there is one creature. I'll bite tomorrow. Naliki. So that tomorrow never comes. Okay. So when never comes tomorrow, what you do? So tomorrow has to come in the form of today. But because of my laziness, I postpone. So the second habit here is being taught postponement. Because I'm trying to put the obstacle, how it comes to the forefront. So if I have a tendency of postponing things, so that means definitely I will not be able to do meditation / contemplation. Because remember, meditation has its own way of doing. Contemplation, it has got completely different thing to do. Why and how? Please see the difference. In meditation, what we call as dhyana, better word, and here is nididhyasana. In dhyanam or meditation, we suppress duality. Be very careful the difference so that you should not confuse any time in life. Don't say, oh, dhyanam, meditation, all this contemplation, please. So dhyanam means we suppress the duality. Whereas in Nitidhyasanam, we resolve the duality. We negate the duality. So Dvaita has to be negated. And later on, it has to be resolved. So that negation, after negating, when you resolve, that is called Vedantic Samadhi. Whereas by suppressing, when your mind is shunyam, blank, we'll see, that is called yogic samadhi. You can go to Savikalpak, later Nirvikalpa. And here he says that when we have this alasyam, laziness, this laziness will lead to what? Bhoga lalasam. Because whenever I am lazy, as I postpone things, so there always the sense of enjoy or sense of enjoyment, the enjoyership in me, bhoktrutvam in me is predominant. It's like morning getting up. That's a beautiful example, okay? You give the alarm. So I see my boys nowadays, they have stopped. You know, they'll put the alarm by 4 o'clock, but they'll get up at 4:30. Poor alarm will keep ringing till 30 minutes, okay? And some voice is very nice. You should see down what they do it, okay? And they have put what alarm, do you know? This, when the dam is open, emergency opening, that horrible noise, okay? So that everybody should be alert. But what they do is they keep continuing the way they are. So let us not bring children. Let us bring all of you. Morning, you decided to get up, let us say 5 o'clock. I'm not pulling, okay? I'm not asking you to get up at 3 o'clock, okay? You can say, Swamiji, why to go to sleep, okay? So better to do not go to sleep after 6. Now, when you decide 5 o'clock, now for alarm rings, you also hear, but again you postpone 5 minutes. And nowadays, snooze, all these things are there. So why do you postpone? Because the bhoktruttam in you, because that is the subtle point to catch, the bhoktruttam in you, the sense of enjoyership in you wants to continue sleeping, wants to continue enjoying. That's why when the sense of enjoyership in me is predominant, and I want this sense of enjoyment to continue some way or other, that time I don't have any other choice to postpone. And that's why he says, then what? Desire to sense pleasure, desire for sense pleasure, bhoga lalasam. Let me sleep. Then what happens? 5 minutes, okay? Just 5 minutes. 5 hours passes away. Also, you forget that you are supposed to fly. Flight goes away. Flight doesn't wait for you. But don't worry. Then that is not enough. The next is what? Cha layaha. And layaha tamas, there are two, but Pujya Swamiji had taken both the things together. But we can take separately, also we can take together, both is okay. So if we take separately, it will be 8 obstacles. If we take together, it will be 7 obstacles. So both way we can do it. So layaha means sleep. The moment you start looking at your mind, your limitations, what happens to mind? Mind will not be available for you. That's why they beautifully say that, you know, Nidra Devi is being given a boon. So Nidra Devi means, you know, we call, you know, the sleeping, okay? So the lady who is the presiding deity of sleep, so she has got a boon. Do you know what is that boon? Whenever, wherever there is a discourse, she will be there. And especially those who are in the back venture, okay? So not only back venture, in the front also. And sometimes, when we also did, not that we have not done, okay? And okay, luckily what happens especially, so we have to look at the verse, do this, do that, so the mind changes, okay? So the Nidra Devi always present when there is a discourse. Imagine, if people are not in the video, what will happen? On your bed, God knows how you listen to me, okay? And here he says, the moment you sit down, you start try to reserve the duality, because here we are not suppressing the duality. That's the most important aspect. So because there is a difference between bypass surgery and real surgery. By doing bypass surgery, you don't solve the problem. You just bypass. Again, problem comes back. So the meditation, the dhyanam is exactly like bypass surgery. So also here, whether you do bypass surgery or you do real surgery, whether you do dhyanam or nididhyasana, the moment you sit down, some way or other, you try to look at your involvement with the experience. That is all about meditation and nididhyasana. The moment you start looking at your involvement with reference to any sort of experiences, now what happens? Now mind feels uncomfortable and already taken you for ride. Let us now enjoy, becoming restless, going somewhere other. But you say, no, enough, come back. Now when mind is completely cornered, it is exactly like you watch a child. How child behaves when you want to teach something, you want to make the child to do something. Exactly our mind does the same. Step by step, you can see in a child. Now, what will happen here to me? Forget child here. Now, mind will feel sleepy. That's why to avoid this, we make sure that the person what has to do pranayama. There is no meditation without pranayama. And as Swamiji has taken, next one is laya. Laya is nothing that, again, here is, okay, laya is sleep. Second one is tamas, dullness. So where the tamas is predominant. So these two, if we take together or separately, now sleepy and tamas, it will go together. That's why I have highlighted this aspect. Unless a person is a religious, the person will not be able to understand Vedanta. Why? These two words will be useful to understand. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has talked in different occasions that if the mind is tamasic, tamapradhana, now will that mind able to respond anything? Because nothing will enter. Mind is already closed. And of course, the Raja Pradhana, something will enter, but with reactions. Now, whole process is how to make Sattva Pradhana. At least me or my mind must move from Tamoguna to sattva guna. And these rituals, especially a religious person, at least by default, has to be a rajasic person. Definitely not tamasic person. Whether the person is going to become sattvic or not is secondary. We'll see this point. Because morning the person has to get up. The morning has to do this ritual. This is time. This has to be done. That's why they say beautifully, you know, a house is not house without a wife. Ashram is not ashram without a cow, without a temple. And nowadays, because earlier it was wife, nowadays we have to tell house is not complete without a child. Because nowadays there is no wife and husband, okay? You know what is all about it. Let me not get in. That's another level which is not today talk. So also if I look at ashram, I have seen for myself, that's why I can share with you, people. Sometimes if you want to get up late, but cow is there, can you afford to get up late? Hamma will create. So if there is a temple, even if you want to get up, there is a timing. You cannot change the time. So these are the things helps a person to be rajas. At least the person will not remain as a tamas person. That's why a ritualistic oriented person, or you can say religious person, what I mean here is, when it comes to Vedanta, then it becomes easier for him to maintain or to travel from rajas to sattva. Or else what will happen is, there is not much difference externally between tamasic and sattvic. Externally. Internally, there is a big difference. Like, I am closing my door. Most of the Swami, they do it, okay? I am sleeping. So what the student will say, all the people will say, Swamiji, abhi dhyan mein hai. So Swamiji is in meditation. Don't ask me what sort of meditation, okay? Nowadays they say, Swamiji abhi samadhi mein hai. Aajkal, nowadays, one more step ahead, okay? No more dhyan, okay? Straight away, samadhi. So kaun sa samadhi? What sort of samadhi? Don't ask, okay? But deep within, I know whether I am in samadhi or not. You know this joke. Long back we did it, okay? So in Chennai, it had happened. I think the story I have shared. Let me share. You must have forgotten. In India, plenty of jokers are very popular. And this person was called, Pujya Swamiji did this Acharya Sabha. So he came for Acharya Sabha in Chennai. And whole day it was a tight program. And he's a very smart fellow. And he did one big satsang in Chennai. More than 10,000 people were there. And this fellow whole day was busy in Acharya Sabha. People are waiting. Some bhajan was going on. He was late. People are waiting. Then finally came. After coming to the dais, and he sat. He was tired because I was watching the video, the focused videos. He was sleeping. Literally, he was sleeping. The poor fellow is tired. We have to understand his limitations, body limitation. But next day, when I saw some group messages and other things, oh, Guruji was in bliss. I'm talking about the live example, okay? Only I have not taken the name of the person, that's all. But it almost I have mentioned the name, okay? Without naming, that's all. This is not one case. There are hundreds of cases. So here I would like to again bring back to the point. When at least I am following This ritualistic part especially, their mind is trained. Mind has to follow certain things whether you like it or not. And through that, what happens? Remember, from tamasic mind goes to rajasic. Again, after being rajasic, again it come back to tamas. But it's very rare that from rajas, mind goes to sattva. That knack, if I find it out, then the mind slowly becomes sattva. Most of the cases, common people cases, this tamas goes to rajas. Once the person is rajas, then from rajas, most of the cases again mind comes back to tamas. And a person, common person, struggles between tamas and rajas. And here is being taught, unless a person is sattva-guna pradhana, that is what we highlight Brahmana, that unless the person is sattva-guna pradhana, cannot understand Vedanta, should not come to Vedanta. Is it clear? So that's why in order to become sattva-guna pradhana, this ritualistic portion, or you can say religious approach, helps, because that knack you get through this, nothing else. However, let us not stretch too much. Then the next is called vikshepa. So vikshepa means distraction, as usual. Because, as you know, mind wants to move on its way. So how it wants to move is very simple. Each one of us are mind. Mind moves between my experience and my insecurity. How the train line moves. A train moves with the two lines, okay? Perfectly stable. So also mind moves with this two track. So what is the track? My experience and my insecurity. Nothing else. And as long as these two track are moving parallelly, I am perfect. And each one of us, we try to make this expanding track. So contraction and expansion should happen it automatically. But we move in this way. How? Just look at yourself. When I say mind moves between my experience and my insecurity. So what is experience? Is nothing but my past. The information that I have. The knowledge that I have. Everything I put together. So this is my backup mind, one track. Now another is what? I don't bother about present. Now my insecurity I have, based on that, some projection I have. What will be my future? What is to be done? What is not to be done? Whether I focus it or not, whether I analyze carefully or not, but mind goes to that. Now in between, mind moves. So when mind moves in these two tracks, suppose my experience is being challenged, or my projected insecurity goes the other way around. I do project my insecurity, but it becomes, suppose I projected 10%, it becomes 100%. Then what happens? Will my mind go crazy or not? Now, when I close my eyes, I am supposed to see this both. That's why this can be seen when there is nididhyasana. Not in dhyana, impossible. This is the limitation in dhyana, okay? Now, let us say in nididhyasana, I see these two. Now, while seeing these two, sometimes my mind will project. What will happen to me when I become old? Yes, Swami, this is a big problem of a Swami, okay? When I become old, who will take care of me? What will happen to me? Hey, then you should not become a Swami. Better be a Asami, okay? Why should you bother? Who will take care of you? If you understand, the God has to take care of you, or you yourself, whatever has to fall. A dead आदमी is moving. Why? No, वैसे मरा हुआ आदमी घूमता है फिरता है. Already the fellow is dead, and dead person's future. I don't know what sort of logic. It happens. Many of us we go through this sort of thing. That's why here is being said that distraction can happen in any level. This is the most important aspect. And of course, how to handle distraction, that also we can look at some other time, not now here. But Mandukya Karika has taught beautiful points. That's why I was referring Mandukya Karika again and again. Then second one is, next one is called Rasa Aswada. Rasa Aswadaha. So that means what? The person starts looking for, tasting the bliss, the joy. Actually, when this Rasa Aswadana happens, there the person actually gets stuck. How? I will come to the point, because these are the systematic approach. As I have suggested, how many of you have tried? I don't know. To sit down in one place few hours. Of course, it cannot happen in one stretch. It takes months of practice. Start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. At least after 2 hours, you will understand what I am talking this. Or else it is just a information, you gather it. What we call as, there a person starts falling in love with mind. This is called exactly called Rasa Aswadanam Iti. So you start tasting, you start enjoying your meditation. And that is one of the dangerous state. And many people get stuck in that. Maximum of the sadhakas. And because the person has gone up to that, lot of peripheral work will happen by itself. And that is what is being highlighted. This is also another obstacle. And the final one is called shunyata. So shunyata means blankness. What is being talked as called koshayam iti. Sometimes we take everything as koshayam, but this is koshayam. The mind becomes completely blank. It's exactly like you suddenly appear in front of a huge elephant, wild elephant. What will happen to your mind? You become completely blank or not, what to do, what not to do. So here also, when you try to face yourself, after going through trying to catch, to understand that who is creating duality consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously better. So when you try to catch that entity, that time the mind will become completely blank. And this blankness also can lead to samadhi, but you don't get anything from there. I don't want to get into, there is another level of, so where especially in Yoga Vasishtha, these are the things talked in details. So what happens, how the stage moves, and each stage, even if in Shunyata there are differences are there, in Yoga Vasishtha it's a very nice text to understand this concept. Now, he says beautifully that these are the yat vigna bahulyam sanehi tyajyam iti. So these are the Vigna Bahulyam. These are the obstacles. That too, Bahulyam means innumerable, plenty. This is only 8 has been figured it out, pointed out. You can have your own obstacles. That's why we make sure the periphery, starting with mantra. That's why this is Shanti mantra. Do not make sure all these, Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika, Vigna to be taken care. Then only something can happen in me, or else I'll be continuing the way I am. More of it will see. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnavadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, all of you.